Did you know that 80% of your results in life might come from just 20% of what you do? Crazy, right? Imagine if you could figure out what that 20% is and stop wasting time on the rest. That's what the 80-20 rule is all about. And it is like a cheat code for getting more done, feeling less stressed, and living a better life. Whether it's your work, your habits, or even your relationships. This one simple idea can flip everything upside down in a good way. Stick with me in this video because I'm going to break it down super easy, show you how it works, and give you practical ways to use it starting today. Oh, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We talk about stuff like this all the time to level up your life. We are diving into something I wish I'd known years ago, the 80-20 rule. Maybe you've heard of it before. It is also called the Pareto Principle, named after this Italian guy, Vilfredo Pareto, who figured it out way back in the day. But don't worry, this is not a history lesson. It is about how you can use this idea right now to make your life better. So what's the 80-20 rule? In super simple terms, it says that 80% of what you get, like results, happiness, and success, comes from just 20% of what you do. The flip side, that means 80% of your effort might only give you 20% of the payoff. Wild, huh? Okay, let's break this down into some big ideas you need to know about the 80-20 rule. These are like the building blocks. Once you get this, the rest will click. Number 1, it is about focusing on what matters. The 80-20 rule isn't just some random math thing. It is a way to figure out what's actually worth your time. Think about it. In your day, you probably do a ton of stuff. Work, scrolling on your phone, chores, whatever. But not all of it gets you closer to your goals. The 80-20 rule says, hey, look closer. 20% of those things are probably driving most of your progress. Like maybe 20% of your workouts give you 80% of your fitness gains. The trick is finding that 20% and doubling down on it. Number 2, it is everywhere in life. This isn't just for work on productivity, it shows up all over. In business, they say 80% of profits usually came from 20% of customers. In your closet, you probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. Even in video games, 80% of your wins might come from mastering 20% of the moves. Once you start looking for it, you will see it popping up everywhere. It is like a secret pattern in how the world works. Number 3, it helps you cut the junk. Here's where it gets fun. If 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort, that means a lot of what you're doing isn't moving the needle. The 80-20 rule gives you permission to stop stressing over the small stuff. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to find a few things that really count and focus there. It is like cleaning your room. You don't need to organize every sock. Just tackle the mess that's bugging you most. Number 4, it is not always exact. Quick heads up, 80-20 is more of a guideline, not a strict rule. Sometimes it's 70-30 or 90-10. It is not about the exact numbers. The point is, a small chunk of effort usually leads to the biggest rewards. So don't get hung up on math. Just start noticing what's working for you and what's not. Number 5, you can use it to level up. This is the exciting part. Once you figure out your 20%, you can pour more energy into it and get even better results. Imagine if you found the 20% of habits that make you feel unstoppable. Maybe it's drinking water, sleeping well, or planning your day. Focus on those and the other 80% of random stuff won't drag you down. It is like upgrading your life by working smarter, not harder. So, those are the key points. Focus on what matters, spot it in your life, cut the junk, don't sweat the numbers, and use it to grow. Got it? Good. Now let's dig deeper into how this actually plays out in real life. Now that you've got the basics, let's go deep. I'm going to show you how the 80-20 rule works in different parts of life. Productivity, health, relationships, even fun stuff like hobbies. I'll throw in some examples from my own life and give you practical steps to try that out yourself. Grab a snack. This is the juicy part. Work smarter, not harder. Let's start with getting stuff done. We all want to be more productive, right? But here's the thing. Most of us waste time on things that don't really matter. I used to spend hours tweaking my to-do list, making it pretty, color coding it, only to realize I would get 80% of my work done in like 20% of my time when I just focused. For me, the 20% was knocking out my biggest task first thing in the morning. Everything else, emails, small errands, it was just noise. Here's how you can try this. Look at your week. What is the one or two things that really push your goal forward? Maybe it's writing that report, practicing a skill, or hitting the gym. That's your 20%. Now protect that time like it's gold. Cut back on the 80%. Stuff like endless meetings or scrolling X for hours. A buddy of mine runs a small business. He was stressing over every little detail, answering every email, chasing every customer. Then he noticed 80% of his sales came from 20% of his clients. So he stopped chasing the small fry and built better relationships with his top dogs. Boom, less work, more money. That's the 80-20 magic. Small habits, big wins. Next up, health. You don't need a crazy diet or gym plan to feel good. 20% of your habits probably drive 80% of your results. For me, it is sleep and water. When I get 7 to 8 hours sleep and drink enough, I'm energized, focused, and my work's out's better. The other 80%, like fancy supplements, obsessing over macros, nice, but not game changers. Try this. Pick one or two health habits that make you feel awesome. Maybe it's walking 20 minutes a day or eating more veggies. Focus on those and don't sweat the rest. A friend of mine lost 20 pounds just by cutting soda and walking. 2 small moves, huge impact. What's your 20%? Quality over quantity. Now let's talk people. Ever notice how 80% of your happiness comes from 20% of your friends or family? I've got a big circle, but when I'm done, it is the same 2 or 3 people I call. They are my 20%. The rest, cool, but they don't lift me up the same way. Here's the move. List the people in your life who makes you laugh, supports you, or just gets you. Spend more time with them. The 80%, like drama queens, energy vampires, you don't have to cut them out, but don't waste your best energy there. I started saying no to hangouts that drained me, and my vibe got so much better. Master what you love. Even in fun stuff, the 80-20 rule applies. You love gaming? Maybe 20% of the games you play give you 80% of the enjoyment. For me, it's watching movies. I mess around with a bunch of hobbies, but watching a good movie once a week brings me the most chill. Now ask yourself, what is the 20% of your free time that lights you up? Double down on that. If it's painting, paint more. If it is baking cake, try new recipes. Life is too short for lukewarm fun. Spend and earn smarter. Money is another big one. Even check your earning. If you've got a job or side hustle, 20% of your work probably brings in 80% of the cash. You have to focus there. My friend is a freelancer. She noticed 20% of her clients paid her best, so she niched down and raised her rate. More money, less hustle. Now, I'm gonna tell you how to spot your 20%. Here is a simple plan. Step 1. Track your day. For a week, write down what you do and how it makes you feel. Work, play, everything. Step 2. Look for patterns. What is giving you the most bang for your buck? Big wins, good vibes, highlight those. Step 3. Test it. Spend more time on your top 20% for a few days. See what happens. Step 4. Cut the fade. Slowly drop the 80% that's dragging you down. Say no, delegate, whatever works. Now let's talk about challenges you might face. It is not all easy. Sometimes you'll guess wrong about your 20%. That's okay. Adjust and keep going. Or maybe you feel guilty cutting stuff out, like saying no to people. Trust me, it gets easier. The goal is not perfection, it is progress. By now, you're probably seeing how this can work for you. It is not about doing more, it is about doing what counts. Let's wrap this up with a little push to get you started. I have a challenge for you. This week, pick one area, productivity, health, whatever, and find your 20%. What is the small thing giving you the big win? Drop a comment below and tell me what you're trying. I will jump in and cheer you on. If you love this video, smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new, hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss more tips like this. I've got a ton of self-improvement ideas coming your way. That's it. The 80-20 rule is all about finding what works and running with it. You don't need to overhaul your life. Just tweak the small stuff that matters most. Let me know how it goes in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.